So guys, at this stage now, we're going to be starting to get a wee bit of metabolic adaptation. That just means that your body's metabolism or energy output starts to adapt to the energy that's coming in. And that's something that a lot of people don't actually appreciate how strong of effect that is. Basically, it's called homeostasis. And what happens from an evolutionary point of view, whatever energy you've got coming in, your body will try and match that energy going out. Remember, when it comes to your total daily energy expenditure, that's how much energy you use per day. So say, for example, just to make the numbers easy, my energy expenditure is 3,000 calories. That's made up of four factors. Factor one is my metabolism, my metabolic rate. Metabolic rate basically means if I lie still in bed, how much energy it takes for me just to stay alive, just to sustain my life, breathing function, heart rate, nervous system, digestive system, but I'm not moving, I'm just lying still. That's my metabolic rate, how much energy I use at rest. Literally how much does it keep me just to stay alive. If I was in a coma lying here, how much energy would I require? Well, that's about 60 to 65% of that 3,000 is used up with that. So that's well over half those calories, which is from a metabolic function. The next factor we take into consideration is this thing called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Now, non-exercise activity. So that's like walking up and down the stairs, going to the bathroom, going to work, moving your hands as you talk, blinking, heavy breathing, all those things, brushing your teeth, any movement that's not specific exercise. So non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Now, walking about for me is not exercise, right? Even going for a walk's not really specific exercise unless you've actually deliberately going, setting your watch, I'm going to hit a heart rate, I'm doing aerobic activity, so it's slightly elevated heart rate. So just going for a walk, playing with the kids, that's your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That takes up about 20%, 15 to 20. Some people do 15, but between 15 and 20, depending on what type of lifestyle you have. For me, it will be about 20%. So there's now 80 to 85% of your total daily energy just living, right? Just staying alive, cellular function, and NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, just moving and doing stuff, all the silly things that you do during the day, which actually burns a lot of energy. So if you think about 20%, right, 20% of that 3,000, that's a lot of calories. There's 600 calories straight away, just by me doing things, right? The next is the thermogenic effect of food, and that accounts for about maybe at best 10%, but we would like it to be about 10%. And that means the thermic effect of food, right, basically means how much energy it takes to digest food. Because when we eat the food, yes, it gives us calories, but we have to use energy to get that energy, because it doesn't just magically go into your cells. We have to digest it. There's a digesting function going on, and getting that energy from the food, you chew it, you digest it, and it has to then go into the system. Now, carbs and protein are digested with stomach acids very rapidly. There's not much thermogenic effect going on there, but proteins get a very high thermogenic threshold. So what that means is, if digesting protein, which is why we want to always make sure we hit that 100 grams, digesting protein actually burns a lot of calories. So about 30% of the energy that you eat from protein is burnt up on digestion. So for example, say I eat 100 calories of protein, right? It takes about 30 calories to digest that 100 calories. So my net intake is only about 70. So 30% of the calories that you're eating will be burnt up in digestion, or the equivalent of, if that makes sense. Now, it doesn't mean that you're getting less protein. It means the calorie requirement from the food. So it makes sense. So that's about 10%. So now we've got 90%, 60%, 60 to 65% on your metabolism, 15 to 20% on non-exercise activity, a good 10%, some people argue 15, but about a good 10%, because unfortunately some of our protein intake is a supplement, is a shake, that's not digested, that's pre-digested. So that's like baby food, that's straight into your system. So it's the chewable, the digestible protein, eggs, chicken, fish, meat, all that kind of stuff. So we have to make sure we get as much as 100 grams of that as possible. Now, for some people it's hard. For me it's hard. I have to have maybe 2 shakes, maybe 2.5 shakes a day just to hit my target, because again, I'm too busy. I don't have the ability to sit down and cook food and prep food or eat prep food. So I'm down to 3 solid meals, and I have about 2 protein shakes. But remember, my protein requirements are about 220 grams. So it's not all that, but again, we still get the digestibility, the thermogenic effect of those calories, and that then takes it to about 90%, which means only about 10% after that is exercise, specific exercise. That's if you exercise. If you don't exercise, you're missing out on about 10% of what your total energy expenditure could be. Now, when we talk about that 10%, it's not as easy, it's not as simple as just saying, right, it's only 10%. Because if we're doing resistance training, there's a metabolic stimulus there. All right, there's a metabolic effect that's going on. We're maintaining the 60% to be higher, if that makes sense. So this is where exercise becomes really critical here. Because metabolic adaptation, because if I need 3,000 calories and I only start to consume, say, 2,500, after a while my body will know, hang on, I am in a deficit here. And if I keep doing this, I will potentially die. So I'm going to match my energy coming in with my energy going out. So what it normally does, it'll start off with non-activity thermogenesis, the moving about stuff, and it will make you slow down. You'll find after a heavy workout, and this is why I only train people for 30 minutes. If you train for an hour, if I take you in the gym and I hammer you for an hour, you're going home and you're sitting down for about an hour afterwards, maybe 2 hours, right? That means that your body's trying to recoup those calories by reducing your non-activity thermogenesis, and studies have proven this, right? Studies have actually proven that people in a deep caloric deficit after a certain period of time will actually blink less, because the body's trying to preserve energy, because blinking burns energy, right? Blinking burns energy. But anyway, so the body will do everything it can to bring those calories back down to baseline, so that the energy going in matches the energy going out, and it'll do that through, first of all, that NEAT. It'll then trigger things like ghrelin, which will increase hunger, which will make you want to eat more. I'm sure you've all noticed that. It will also change your mood. It will make you grumpy, it'll make you tired, and it'll make you lazy, so that we burn less energy, so that your NEAT drops. After a while, then it'll start to metabolize protein. It'll break down protein for energy, so that your metabolic rate now decreases, because if there's less muscle tissue, less of you, then there's less metabolic rate, therefore there's less energy requirements. So even if I was to drop my calories down to 2,000 after a certain period of time, say about, we're talking about 2 months, right, my energy output will match that, right? So this is why we need to avoid metabolic adaptation. This is why on our diet, for example, if we do the 5-day fasting, we big caloric deficit and then back to maintenance, right? So we don't get a chance for that metabolic adaptation to kick in. If we're doing the 12-week challenge, we have to make sure that we have things like low days, medium days, high days. So we've got the 20-hour fast, 22-hour fast on Monday. We've got a low calorie target Tuesday to Friday, Monday to Friday, and then we have a slight increase of calories on Saturday, Sunday. There's a reason for this, not just because mentally and emotionally we get to have some more calories at the weekend, but because we avoid that metabolic adaptation by it's called calorie cycling, basically, and that's what we're trying to do. But at this stage, even that, the body will actually start to adapt to that after a while. So this is where we need to really start to specify resistance training and increasing that, getting that 10% of the exercise as high as possible, but with the stuff that's going to help the other one. So we only train for 30 minutes so we don't overstimulate cortisol, so we don't get tired, we don't get that rebound, that metabolic adaptation kicking in, but intense for half an hour, resistance training. Aerobic activity. Remember, aerobic activity is not anaerobic. It's not going to stimulate metabolism, but it's going to burn fat. So we want a combination of two. So we increase our fat burning now. So from next week on, you should be doing an hour aerobic work 4 times a day. Guys, if you're not doing that, we've had this discussion before, you're not taking full advantage of everything that we could be doing to get the best results possible. And if you're not going to get the best results possible, what the fuck are you doing to yourself? This is about you. This is your body. This is your life. This is about the results that you want, that you signed up for. Make it happen. Stop making excuses, right? Stop making excuses. I don't care if you're fucking tired. I'm up at 4 o'clock every morning doing an hour and a spin bike before I start work at 6, because I care about my health, about the results that I want, and I'm making myself accountable. So whenever I say I'm going to do something, I fucking do it, because the only person I'm going to let down is me, right? And I don't ever want to have that feeling again where I give myself bullshit and I don't own up to it. It's only bullshit when I don't carry it through. If I'm going to tell myself I'm going to do something, then I'll be accountable to myself. Now, we're all here for accountability for me and each other, which is fine, which is good. External accountability, but what about internal accountability? It's like you've let yourself down that many times over the years, telling yourself you're going to do a diet and not sticking to it, that you now don't even believe your own bullshit anymore, and now I'm going to do it. Never happens. So make yourself accountable, because I lived a life like that before in the past, guys, and I'm not going back there, because my mental health is too valuable for me. Because whenever I start letting myself down, I start letting everybody else down. If I can't count myself, how the fuck can anybody else count on me? So anyway, I'm digressing here a wee bit. So think about our energy, think about that energy output. Alright? Have a good day.